Hey everyone, welcome back. I know it's been a while, but today we're doing something really exciting. We're going to render a minimal and sci-fi bedroom interior. We're going to create a slightly moody and cinematic night lighting setup, like the one you can see here in this render. The whole concept actually started inside Midjourney. I was experimenting with prompts to create futuristic interiors, and one of the results had such an amazing vibe, balanced composition, and that movie set feeling, so I decided to take that AI generated idea and rebuild it completely in 3ds Max using Corona Renderer. In this video, I'll walk you through the full process from using Midjourney to spark design ideas to building the full 3D scene in 3ds Max, setting up materials, lighting, and rendering it in Corona. I'll even show you how I generated a backplate image in Midjourney to complete the final render. So that being said, without further ado, let's get started. So I was testing different prompts in Midjourney, and I found this one that I thought was really awesome. For these images, I used this prompt: modern futuristic bedroom at night, front-facing bed, minimalist design, empty wall, advanced smart technology, clean and peaceful atmosphere, cinematic composition. I used it with an aspect ratio of 16:9 and the style mode set to RAW. As you can see, I also used version 7 of Midjourney. When I saw these images, I was absolutely stunned by the results. I thought, let's create this in 3D, but with full control and all the details. You can also use this same prompt in your own Midjourney account and create them yourself. You'll also get to download the images I used here as references on my Patreon. You'll find the link in the description. So first, let's download these two images that I really liked. Now what I'm going to do is use these images as my base design and then improvise a little to add my own touch. This is how you can do idea generation with Midjourney, and nowadays it's quickly become my favorite workflow for idea generation. By the way, if you want to learn how to use Midjourney as an artist, I've already made a full course called Midjourney for 3D Artists. It's a very interesting and detailed course with amazing content that I've put a lot of work into. Also, if you don't want to waste a lot of time figuring out Midjourney and all its tools as a 3D artist, this course will really help you. You can check it out from the link in the description. Now, I have already imported some of the models in 3ds Max, and you can do that too with your own models. As you can see, I have put these images as reference. Now we will start the modeling. One thing to note here is that this is not going to be a cut-to-cut full-length tutorial, because if I make that kind of tutorial, the recording becomes about 2.5 hours. So it's going to be a little hard to do that with audio. So what I'm going to do is walk you through the important parts that might be difficult for you guys to understand. Now let's put this bed in the middle like this. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is put the bed in the middle, because I know the bed is the correct size. Now from here I will start the modeling, because if I make a model with the reference size of this bed, then our interior will automatically be the right size. Let's put this reference to the side and let's create a camera from the front. Now let's use two views, one camera view and one for walking. Now I'm going to start modeling from the front. Let's set the camera properly with HD resolution 1920 by 1080. Let's put the chair here just like our reference. At this stage, I'm just trying to figure out some basic shapes. I'm not trying to finalize anything. Also, I have put this carpet here. Yeah, I like this round one, the circular one, I mean. Now I'm going to make a rectangle from here like this. And I will try to match it as much as possible to our reference. And I will also put some of my own thoughts into it, like how much longer or how much height this section should be. Let's take it back. Now what I'm going to do is make it an editable spline and let's select all the splines and scale outward while holding shift so it will make a copy of it. Now I'm going to set the bottom spline to 0 and the top to 9 feet because I want to make a ceiling that is at 9 feet height. I'm going to set the spline properly as I like. Now let's give it a fillet, yes. Now what I'm trying to do is make it bigger on both sides so it matches the reference better. Also, I'm going to put some of my own thoughts into it, like how much it should be and things like that. Let's make it 1 foot, I think, in thickness by putting a shell modifier on it. Let's set it here. Now let's make a box here to fill up this area. First, let's set both areas on all 4 sides to the same size so they will look even on each side, just like our reference. Now let's make a box here to fill up this part on the right side. Now let's copy the same box on the left side too. At this stage, I'm just trying to figure out what to do with the design and stuff like that. I'm not trying to make it perfect or exactly what I want or anything like that. I'm just trying to roughly create this. Now let's pack this backside with a box too. Now on the right side, let's make this bottom part that we see below the window, which we will make roughly, I think, 6 inches or something. Now what I will do is I will make one shape, a rectangle shape, here like this, and assume its size roughly. Then what I will do is give it a 1-inch outline on the inside and then give a 6-inch shell. As you can see, this is the shape that we got. Now let's copy this multiple times so it covers the whole wall. Now let's take this window model and I'm going to put this behind in the back, just like we can see in the reference. Now what I will do is set the window as best as I can according to the shape. Now what we will do is delete these shapes and put an array on this one. I will add some spacing using the spacing parameter, and then we will go to Edit Spline and make it smaller or bigger until it completes the entire wall in 5 similar copies. Now we will take this door model and put it here, and I'm trying to set it here as you can see. My plan is to make the door from bottom to top without any extra borders. Only the 2 sides will have wooden blocks, and in the middle there will be a single wooden door. I will delete every other panel from this door. I will take the front vertices of the side blocks and make them bigger like this. there will be only 3 parts, the door and the 2 side blocks. I will make this door proper from one side to another and from top to bottom. Next, I will make the floor with a box from one corner to another. Now let's set the camera again and decrease the focal length so the camera captures the shot properly. I will make this part longer from here. I will make a rectangle from one corner to another, delete these 2 edges, and give it an outline on the outside so it works as a wall. I will give it a shell of 9 feet and adjust it with Edit Poly. Then I will copy the floor and use it as the ceiling. Now let's increase the camera clipping and set the camera again. And set the ceiling from one side to another. Let's take this chair. I will put the chair back here like this. Now let's set the camera again. Camera setting is important because the better the camera captures the shot, the better your shot will look. Now I will put this tic-tac-toe prop here. And place this bag on the side. I will copy this back part and delete the outer edges of the spline to get the inner part. Then I will apply floor generator. I will make sure it has 2 center grooves like in the reference. I will use offset and bevel of 2 millimeters. For the grout, I will use 5 millimeters. I will decrease the extrude to 0.5 inch so it does not intersect with the prop. Now I will take the side panels, go to Edit Poly, select all the edges and give them one connect. Then I will split it to create 2 parts. I will go to Border, select the inner parts one by one, and give them a bridge so they connect completely. I will place the panels together like this. The array has given us 5 copies of this panel. We will use the inner parts as a light source. For the back panel, I will add 1 segment in the shell, and 1 more segment in Edit Poly. Select the inner polygons and detach them as a clone. I will give them a minimal shell of 2 millimeters and use these strips as lights too. Now I will copy this camera. Let's set this camera here. I will use a 0.8 ratio, so the shot will be a vertical one. The first one was horizontal, and now we are making a vertical one. This is the proper size for Instagram and places like that. We will increase the camera clipping and use a different focal length to set it properly, so our camera will not get clipped areas on the top and bottom. We will also use a camera target and move the target up and down to keep the bed in the center. And we will set it properly. Now next, we will make a camera from here and set it like this. Here too, we will make different kinds of adjustments. We basically have to do 3 types of adjustments: camera and target heights, and location, focal length, and clipping. If you focus on just these 3 options, you can set most of the cameras easily. You don't need anything more for setting a camera properly. Now what I will do is make a wall here. My plan was to make a depth of field type shot where I have this wall in the front in blur and then the shot behind it. But that didn't work out. So I will take this wall and decrease its size later. Next, I will make one camera here and make it orthographic. I will turn off the automatic vertical tilt and increase the camera clipping. It will look like this. I always make orthographic cameras for these close-up shots because it gives me a better shot and proper depth. Make sure to turn off automatic vertical tilt in an orthographic camera because it will mess up your shot, especially in these types of cameras. Now the scene is set and the cameras are also set. In the next part, we will do the lighting. And by the way, you will get this model with lighting on my Patreon. You will find the link in the description. I will remove the assets that I used in this scene because they are not my assets to give. Whatever I worked on myself, like modeling and stuff like that, I will give it to you. Other assets you will have to put by yourself. So if you want to start from that file, you can download it, put your own assets, and start practicing the lighting with me. By the way, guys, this tutorial is part of a full interior visualization learning series I've put together, where I break down the real workflow I use in my day-to-day client projects. I want to be real with you. I've been in this industry for over 5 years, and most of what I've learned didn't come from a fancy degree. It came from online courses, YouTube, and a lot of trial and error. That's exactly why I built my course, Mastering Interior Visualization with Corona, to teach beginners the way I actually use these tools in real projects instead of leaving them stuck with random scattered tutorials. This tutorial you're watching right now is the same way I teach in my course, but inside the course I go even deeper with slower step-by-step explanations instead of fast-forwarded parts. Inside the course, I cover everything you need: modeling, lighting, rendering, post-production, and the full workflow from start to finish that I use in my daily work. So if you like learning like this, and if you want the complete structured training that takes you from beginner to a master 3D visualizer, that's what the course is made for. You'll find the link to enroll in the description. Right now, I'm giving 30% off with the code SAVE30. It's available for a limited time, so grab it while it's there. All right, let's continue the tutorial. Now let's do the lighting, but before that, let's turn on the Corona material override and put a Corona legacy material here. I'll use reflection at 1 with glossiness at 0.6, and let's decrease the reflection color. I'll also add a grayish color here. You can see all the details on the screen. Also make sure to turn on all these options so it will override certain properties of the materials. Now let's start the interactive. First, let's apply Edit Poly on this window facade model and let's detach it. Now I will apply a Corona material on it and increase the intensity. Let me quickly grab the reference so we can compare and pick the material color for the light from it. Let's pick the light color from here. As you can see, it has started giving the same vibe that we need as per our reference. It's looking very moody. I really like it. Now let's select this one from the back panel and copy this same light material and apply it to it. For this one, let's make it a little more whitish instead of that cyan color, so it will look more like our reference. You can increase or decrease the intensity as you want. Now let's select this back panel and exclude it from material override. For this, I'm thinking of making a mirror material because I don't want to make the exact same stuff. So I'm making a simple mirror material with reflection glossiness at 1 and Fresnel IOR at 99. As you can see, now our interior is looking like this. Very amazing. Next, let's put some post-processing. Let's increase the sharpening to 3 and the blurring radius to 0.50. Let's put the aces to 0.4 to 0.5, whatever you want. I'll put contrast to 3 and increase the highlight compression to 2 or 3, whichever looks better. Next, let's turn on filmic mapping and increase the rich shadows to around 0.40. Now let's put a LUT. I'm testing LUTs from a basic standpoint. I'm not finalizing the LUT right now. I'm just checking what looks good. Each LUT is giving its own look and changing the mood of our environment. Now let's turn off the LUT because we will choose one later. Now let's add vignette and put it around 0.5 to 0.7, whatever you prefer. I think 0.7 is looking good. Now I'm selecting this backlight panel and making it a little thinner because it was very wide compared to what we usually see in interiors, so thinner looks better. Now I'm fixing this wall that we need. Next, let's copy this door and set it here, and this door will show up inside the mirror. So I will set this wall and this door properly so it looks like there are 2 doors in the bedroom. One could be for the bathroom and the other for the main entrance. Next, I will take this cupboard model that I already imported and put it on the opposite side of the bed. Then I will increase its height so there's only a small gap between the ceiling and the top of the cupboard. Now I will take this wall and adjust it. Let's first increase the clipping from this camera so it won't bother us. It was clipping inside the cupboard. As you can see, this is how it's looking. Next, I'll make the cupboard bigger because I have to make certain interior decisions here. There was a lot of empty space on the right corner, so I'm making each cupboard more or less the same size. This is how it's looking in different cameras. Now I'm fixing this camera again because we are focusing on this wall part here, but I don't think the depth of field idea is going to work well here, so I'm going to remove this wall from this camera. I'm selecting these vertices and moving the wall back so the cupboards look like they're against the back wall and the left side wall. As you can see, this close-up shot is looking really good. I have set the wall and the door that appears in the mirror, and we also fixed the wardrobe part. Let's go to the render setup and turn on the single map option, and put a Corona sky here. As you can see, it has completely changed our lighting. So what I will first do is increase the horizon blur, and then I will turn on light mix, because the next steps we will do in light mix. Now let's go to light mix, and as you can see, we have all the lights here. First, we will decrease the Corona sky intensity to around 0.2 or 0.3. And what I will do is put some color here. As you can see, I'm trying to match the vibe with our reference. Basically, in areas that are very dark, we will use the Corona sky to add a little color. These darker areas will get a slight bluish or cyan tone from the Corona sky. You can see the values I'm using and the different shades I'm trying. We can experiment with the bluish or cyan colors. We can increase or decrease the intensity, because if you increase it too much, it will start looking like a day render. So make sure to keep it around 0.1, 0.2, or 0.3. Once you find something you like, we will bake it later. As you can see, this is the final value I decided on. So let's click on Bake and bake it into the Corona sky. If I drag Corona sky into the material editor, you will see that the Corona sky now has a Corona color correct node, and it has generated this bluish tint coming from outside. Now I am doing some fixes on the window side light. I'm putting new tones to match the proper mood as per our reference. Next, I will make a cylinder here for making those holes that we see for light fixtures. Normally I put a Corona slicer material on it. What will happen is the ceiling that intersects with the cylinder will get cut where the cylinder touches it. I will put the cylinder slightly inside the ceiling so it cuts that part. As you can see here, I am making a set of 2 cylinders, and each has the Corona slicer material applied to it. With these cylinders, I'm creating openings in the ceiling for light fixtures. I'm placing these cylinders in different places. I have added a total of 9 in this room. And I will make sure my lights openings are 2 inches in diameter, so I'm putting 1 inch in radius. Next, I will put a disk light in each opening that we need it in, so we get some warm light in the scene. I'm placing it slightly inside. I'm also going to set the include mode in the slicer material and put the ceiling in the include selection so that the slicer material only cuts the ceiling and not the light inside. Now let's make the light warmer. I'll put the temperature at 2500. Let's increase the directionality to 0.5 to 0.6. As you can see now, our light is showing up nicely. Now I will copy this light to the other side. Let's increase the intensity a bit. As you can see, we now have a nice combination of blue and orange tones in our render. Increasing or decreasing the intensity is up to your taste. Some people prefer strong lights, and some like softer tones. Let's copy these to the other side too, so we get interesting lighting and shadows in this corner. Let's fix our cylinder properly. As you can see, this is how our scene is looking. Now let's copy this light to the back side so we get some shadows on the door that shows up in the mirror. Make sure to make this copy unique, otherwise all lights will share the same properties. Let's lower it a bit, and you can see we now have amazing shadows on the door. Let's set its directionality to 0.5 and increase the intensity slightly. For this interior, I don't want very sharp or bright lights, except for these strip lights, so I will keep the intensity minimal. Now I'm adjusting this light here. You can see it's very strong, so you have to be careful, because otherwise the scene can become too dark or too blown out. Let's increase the exposure slightly so it becomes a little brighter. Now I'm using this Atom 400 LUT, remember this. And let's do something interesting now. Let's copy this light and put it at the bottom corner of the bed where the shawl is. As you can see, adding this light creates a very interesting highlight and mood in the interior. It gives it a mysterious kind of vibe. Now make sure of one thing. When you use fake lights like this, meaning lights that are not actually in the visible holes, you must turn off visibility and also turn off occlude other lights. Otherwise, it will create black spots or weird shading. When the lights are actually inside the holes, then you can keep visibility on. So what I did is put the light in the holes near the bed bottom corner and set its intensity to 100. Lights inside the fixtures should have lower intensity so the bloom and glare stay controlled. The fake light that is actually lighting the scene can have higher intensity. For example, the fake light I used here has directionality at 0.55 and intensity at 300. Intensity of lights inside holes should be lower because they create more bloom and glare. Lights that brighten the actual scene can be stronger. Now let's decrease bloom and glare to 0.20 and 0.20, so it's not too much. Sometimes we make mistakes, like accidentally instancing lights by copying them wrong. That happened here. The door light and bed light were instanced together. I am now making each light unique and lowering the door light intensity because I don't want it to be very bright. The bed bottom one I set to 250, intensity and vice versa. I tried putting the same light on the opposite cupboard, but I didn't like it. It was pulling too much attention to the cupboard, so I deleted it. Next, I will add small detail work. I will put two cuts in the ceiling on the window side. I put two connect edges here, and I will put two connects on the other side too. So we get a clean box shape between them. Then selecting the center polygon and pushing it up gives a nice detail. I also made another same stuff and selected both polygons so it looks like there are two lights turned off. This is personal preference, you can add it if you want. These small details make a big difference in interiors. Now I'm copying this light into the hole near the door fixtures. If light is coming from the top, then some light should show inside the holes of the fixtures. I put these lights in the holes near the doors. Removed directionality and set intensity to 100 so they don't become too strong. Next, I selected the window. It was very bulky and too big. Window frames should not be that huge. So I'm making them slimmer using an FFD 4 by 4 by 4 modifier. I selected the inner points and scaled them to make it look more natural. As you can see, the scene is looking very beautiful. The shots are looking amazing. I think we forgot to decrease the light intensity of these inner lights. Let's make them unique and set them to 100, so the bloom and glare is not too strong. Next, I already did this ahead, but I will show you. I added a background that has stars. It's a very interesting background that I made with Midjourney. As you can see, it looks beautiful. The fast preview doesn't show it fully, but in the final render, you will see it clearly. The stars look amazing, and the horizon glow at the bottom looks great. I wanted a background like this, so I used the Midjourney prompt night sky photo with aspect ratio 16 by 9, style raw, and version 7. Midjourney created 4 images, and I chose this one. You will also get a link to download it on my Patreon. To use this, I turned on refraction override and put a Corona color correct node into it. I put the Corona bitmap inside the color correct. I used screen mode so the image appears as one flat plate outside the window. Then I set V tiling to 1.2 and V offset to negative 0.02. This took some time. You always have to go back and forth to find the right position. Then I set the Corona color correct temperature to 3500. It was 6500 by default. But I didn't like the warm tone, so I made it cooler to match the bluish night sky. It looks great, like the interior is somewhere in the forest or mountains where you can actually see the sky from the window. I also increased the exposure slightly to push the blue tone. You can adjust exposure however you want. I put it at 0.3. As you can see, the lighting is finally coming together. Lighting can do crazy things. That's why I created 5 different interiors with different lighting variations, so I can teach everything in my course, so make sure to check it out. Now that the lighting is done, next we will do the materials. Now first, let's select all the walls and exclude them from the material override. And now let's apply this white material to it. Let's pick the material and let's remove it from bump, because that's what I always do. And let's adjust this wall color a bit. There is no need to adjust, I think, because this is already looking okay. We wanted a white kind of color and it's already white, so let's leave it for now. First, let's apply the black material to the window paneling. So I will copy this material and I will apply it to this panel. I have already excluded them from material override. So now I have made it a dark black color, as you can see. Now let's go to the wood material and first select these doors and let's exclude them. Then apply this cherry semi-gloss wood material. I use this material a lot, so I already know what this material will look like. So I have already applied it. And let's apply the UVW map modifier with real world turn on. And let's rotate it 90 degrees so our material looks proper. Let's pick this material and let's put it in slot 1. This is the multi-sub material that was applied to the door before. Now what I will do is I will select all the elements and set the ID to 1. Then I will select the handle part and give it ID 2. Next, what I will do is I will apply this Corona multi-sub material that has 2 material IDs and 2 materials in it. Then I will make this material black, so our handles will look black, and our entire door will be wooden. So let's apply it. As you can see, this is how it's looking. Now, in this wood material, let's apply the basic color correction before the diffuse slot. And let's decrease the saturation because we don't want such high saturation in our interior right now. As you can see, I have decreased the saturation quite a bit. I wanted to make it like this. I think our interior looks a little bit better with this kind of saturation. And I think the upper part is similar to our reference, but since we used a warm light, that's why it is looking much warmer. I think it's looking good. So now I will apply the same material to this wardrobe with the same type of UVW map modifier. As you can see, this is how the wooden tones look right now. Now let's select all these inner props and exclude them from the material override. So I will fix their materials one by one. First, let's pick this carpet material. Okay, first let's exclude this floor material. For this, I will use this kind of yellow wood. I will use this flooring standard oak material. Let's apply it and then add a UVW map modifier with real world turned on. Let me scale it a bit because it looks very tiny. And as you can see, it's already looking very good, I think, just like our reference. Now let's make this light a little less warmer because our flooring is very yellow. The lights that are dropping on the floor are looking a little bit red. Now let's put color correction in this flooring material. And I will decrease the saturation a bit because it's looking very yellow. Now let's see the carpet material. Let's put color correction here and let's increase the gamma so our carpet material looks better. I think this is looking good. 2.5, 2.2 is a good value for this. Now let's pick the bed material. For this white fabric material of bed and backrest, let's increase the gamma because it's looking great, but I want it to be in a brighter tone. I have done a little correction in the placement of this tic-tac-toe board, put it on the bed and did some changes to color of the board. I have copied the wall material and applied it to the ceiling because I don't want it to have same values as walls. Next, what I'm doing here is applying the chamfer modifier to these panels because with the chamfer, they will look better. I will pick the chair material here and it's looking very dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put color correction here and I will make it brighter so it's not completely pitch dark. I have made it a black and white kind of combination in the color tones of this chair. Let's set the focal length again so it's proper and not very odd. For the ceiling material, I will decrease the reflection glossiness so it's not very reflective. And now, as you can see, our interior is coming together with all the materials and lighting and stuff like that. I also deleted the disc lights from the right side of the bed because they were too much. At last, I have set the V parameter of this background to minus 0.07. Finally, this lesson came to an end, and all the stuff is done. Now let's do the final renders. And after the post-production, I will show you the final renders. So these are the final renders. I really liked how they turned out. It's so fascinating to see the final result of your own imagination every time. If you are someone who is struggling and have some doubt in interior visualization, then make sure to check out my interior visualization with Corona course. It will help you so much, trust me. It's 34 hours of training where I cover every feature in Corona Renderer that is needed in interior visualization, plus full scene creation from scratch with step-by-step audio. Basically, if you want to learn to make renders like this, then this course has everything you need. Right now, I'm giving 30% off with the code SAVE30. It's available for a limited time, so grab it while it's there. The link is in the description. Check it out, and I will see you in the next one.